Good morning. I hope you're fine this morning. Saying goodbyes is one of the very difficult things that we all have to do in life. Today, Jesus is giving his farewell speech, and that's in the Gospel reading according to the Gospel of St. John, chapter 17, from verses 10 to 19. And in the first reading, taken from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 20, from verses 28 to 38, Paul also gives his farewell address as he begins his journey to Jerusalem. So I'd like to say this morning three things about saying goodbyes. Saying goodbyes can be very difficult, and let me share with you very quickly what I think that we should try to look out for when we are saying goodbyes, whether that be leaving a job, leaving your family, whether even that be someone dying. It's always important to say goodbye correctly. So the first thing I would say is that remember that there will be a tomorrow. So as much as is possible, try to live in peace. Try to say goodbye in peace. St. Paul this morning gathered all the leaders of the church together and made sure they knew each other. He tried to make sure there was peace among them. There's no need to fight because you're saying goodbye. There's no need to fight because you're ending a relationship. As much as it's possible, try to live in peace. I remember when I was in primary 6, and I'm so ashamed of this story. So I thought I was doing primary 6, and I wrote a very terrible letter to my teacher, whom I thought hadn't particularly behaved well. I was 10 now, I was 10 years old. And I left it on her table thinking that, well, after all, I was leaving primary school, so I was never going to see her again. But unfortunately, what I didn't realize was that every Sunday after that, I was going to see her in church. And each time I saw her, my parents would be like, let's go and greet auntie. And I'd be like, no, we're not greeting auntie. So you see, it's important to live in peace because you never really know what the future holds. The second thing I'd like to say is hand over. Hand over. Prepare the succession. Prepare the person who's taking over from you to know how he or she is going to take over the office, for example. There's nothing as terrible as taking over an office and not knowing what the guy before you was doing. There are no handover notes, there are no accounts, there's nothing. So hand over. Jesus, before he left this world, handed over the ministry to his apostles. St. Paul, before he left Corinth, handed over the churches to the elders of the church. So we must learn to hand over. We should not behave as if after us everything can go to blazes. It's important to articulate the inventory, what was there, what is the future, what are the plans, and hand them over to the next person. St. Paul this morning took time to explain to the elders of the church that, see, you're going to have difficulties, ravenous wolves are going to come in among you. So he prepared them for the future. So you must prepare the next person for the future. So that's the second thing I like to say about saying goodbyes. It's very important, as you're saying goodbye, to properly hand over. The third and the last thing I would say about handing over is this experience that we all have. When you leave a place, you feel like you haven't gotten as much as you have given. You know, maybe you leave a company and the farewell ceremony is just a crap, it's just nothing, and you're like, oh, I put in so many years in this company and this is all I get. Or it could also be leaving the position or whatever it is. But St. Paul tells us this morning that there is more happiness in giving than in receiving. Our joy should not come from what we get from the work we have done. Our joy should come from what we have given in the course of the work. So let us focus more on what have I been able to give as I'm leaving this place, much more than what am I getting. Because there is more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. So child of God, I pray this morning that if you're going to have to leave a place, you're going to have to hand over to someone else, that your goodbyes will bring good memories to you. And the Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.